Hello and welcome to Cool Shark Racing. Today we've got another track guide for Project Cars 2. Today we're in the gt5 at Oulton Park, Foster's, and today I'm just going to show you all the tips and tricks for this track to improve your lap times. We'll be talking about slip angle a lot in this video, so if you don't know what that is, feel free to search it in on YouTube as there's some really good videos explaining exactly what it is. So now we're going to have a full video of the lap and then an in-depth look. So thanks for watching that full lap. Now we'll have an in-depth look. So coming into turn 1, our braking zone is going to be just after the final black board on the left hand side. We're going to want to be turning in just after we get off the brakes, having a late apex here as you can see. Being careful with how much curb we use that we don't unsettle the car too much. And then using some of the exit curb here as well. Being careful, as I said, not to invalidate your lap, as it's very easy to do on the first corner. Start the downhill section now. We want to begin turning right in at the middle black board. We then want to make sure we're on the right hand side of the circuit at the end of this white curb. Then we want to begin turning into the left hand section at the end of this red barrier on the right hand side, where you see that red mark. And we use a lot of slip angle, as you can see. This is where we want to apex the corner, but you can see we're using a lot of slip angle to really have a good amount of speed through that corner. Being careful that you don't take too much curb and unsettle the car. After we come off that curb, we want to make sure we're still on the left hand side of the circuit, coming into the braking zone for the right hander. We want to begin braking here just as we start the Foster variation of the circuit, and then we want to get off the brakes, begin turning in and get on the throttle at the end of this left hand side curb. Being very careful to only use the bit of the curb on the left hand side on the apex and not the one on the right, as that will unsettle the car quite a lot and cause us to go on two wheels. We want to exit the corner here just at the end of the left hand side curb. Being careful not to actually use this curb, because as you can see it's just a mess and it will really unsettle the car. Full speed now for this right hander. We want to begin turning in at the end of that left hand side curb. Apex the corner here, making sure we use no apex curbs, and you can use a little bit of the exit curb, but I found that I didn't need to. So just try and use as a little curb as you can through there, because any curb that you do use will just slow you down. For this slight left-hander, we want to apex the corner just at the start of that bridge. We want to begin turning in here for the left-hander, using a lot of curb here, making sure that we're on the left-hand side of the circuit coming into this right-hander. We want to begin braking here just before the end of this black barrier on the right-hand side. Get off the brakes, get on the throttle and begin turning in just before that white board on the right hand side. We want to use a little bit of slip angle here, so we want to apex the corner where we see that orange mark on the barrier, and as you can see we're using quite a bit of slip angle to really make sure we have good speed around this corner. We want to allow the car to drift just over a little bit so we can have a good entry to the right hander, which is full speed and a slightly later apex as well. And it's absolutely fine to use this exit curb as well. It's nice and flat. Just be careful not to unsettle your car too much. Coming to the right hander now, the final corner. You want to begin braking just after this barrier on the right hand side. We want to get off the brakes, on the throttle, and begin turning in just at the end of the grass on the left hand side. We want to use a little bit of the curb on the apex here if you want. I didn't really use any for this lap, but you can use some without unsettling your car. And then allow the car to drift out wide onto the exit, and we want to exit the corner just around about here. And that finishes off the lap, and now we're just full speed up the hill. Make sure we get a good run along the home straight, and that finishes off that lap. So that was a 1 minute 04.170. There's definitely more time to find there. I just did some laps, so I was able to make the track guide, but there's definitely a 1 minute 3 in there for me. Let me know in the comments what times you were able to do, and if this track guide was able to help you get quicker times. Thanks for watching.